Well, hi everyone, it's Marcus and welcome to more chatting in my jungle room. I'm absolutely thrilled today because I have got an Australian beloved son. Please welcome everyone, David Campbell. David, how are you?
My Marcus, this is the second jungle room I've seen in my lifetime. I've been seeing Elvis's and now yours.
Well, I do love my jungle room. I am a bit of a nature boy. Quite often, I will do trapeze acts and Tarzan across the room. It's fun.
I can see it. And a loincloth, I can absolutely see it.
Keep it perky, David. Keep it perky.
Yes, indeed.
So the reason why we're talking today is because you are coming to Adelaide very soon. It will be the 20th and the 21st of June, which is not very far away,
Mm.
for two separate events. One, of course, is you're coming to the Adelaide Cabaret Festival that you, a few years ago, was the artistic director for, with, of course, Lisa as well, which was.
Yeah.
But this year you're coming back with your own show. Are you excited for that?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's probably the best thing in the country at the moment to do this festival, and it has been for a long, long time. I feel like every time I go, I'm not only seeing my family and friends in Adelaide, but I'm seeing my family and friends in the industry. It is such a warm festival. I actually don't know any other festival like it. I
Yeah.
know there are other festivals that are great, Sydney Festival, bravo to you. Melbourne Jazz, lots of clicks to you too. But I don't think there's the warmth and the energy and the locality and what Adelaide does. I don't know if it's having it around an artistic director and then their vision trickles down, like having someone like Virginia this year is in the last 2 years, she's been amazing for that, and just her energy and what she puts into it. So, but then when I go there, I always feel like I'm catching up with acts I've always wanted to see. Adelaide really puts its arms around its festival in a way that is quite profound. I know that from an artistic director's point of view, you feel so welcomed and so much a vital part of the city's culture. But then when you're an artist, like when I'm coming back this time, you feel like you can play a lot more. You feel like you could just see all your friends and go around and be like, oh my God, what's happening this time? And so there's less, not even attention, but just less responsibilities. And so therefore you can just go, "Oh, I'm just having fun and just do what I want." But I'm bringing my Good Lovin' show, which I haven't done for I'm going to say over maybe 15 years. And so it was something that I pulled out after the pandemic. My musical director, Joe Icario, who's been with me for 22 years, we were doing some songs and the songs just started to creep back into the set. And so we're like, well, let's just see how that old show is. And we just put new stuff in there and new stories, and it's given it new life. So the loose thing is that it's good, loving, and more. But there's all the stuff that I've been doing for the last 20 something years is in there.
Speaking of family friends that you touched on a little bit earlier ago when you come to Adelaide, I am actually seeing one of your family members only this Friday night at the Gov. Your uncle John Swan is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was that with Dave?
it's with Dave Gleason and Kevin Borich as well.
What a gig.
Well, that is going to be fun.
Is that they've done this before, right?
No, I think this is the first one. The three of them have actually done it together. I think
Oh,
they've
great.
done stuff with Dave Gleason before, and maybe Kevin
Yeah.
Birch separately, but the first time the three of them. And obviously, we're going to be hearing everything from the Party Boys to everything. It's going to be fun. It's going to be.
John, growing up listening to Swanee sing was really influential on me, with my dad and John as two major vocal people in my young listening experience.
Yeah.
And I think about songs like Lady What's Your Name and Temporary Heartache and, Turn, Turn Away and also stuff from the live albums. He's such an incredible singer. And yeah, that's it. He's amazing. So I can't wait. The Party Boys were massive. I had the 12-inch of He's Gonna Step on You Again.
Oh, holy moly.
That's how much I was addicted to that song.
Same here. Same here. I mean, we're pretty.
And Dave Gleason's, he is. I just did Rock Quiz with Dave, and
Yeah.
he's wonderful.
Awesome. We're the same vintage. We've got the same appreciation, I think. Now, excitedly, you step off the cabaret stage on Friday night. You have a good scrub down, and then Saturday, I mean, you'll be sweaty. You put your heart and soul in.
I will be very sweaty that night. Yeah. It's a big
Um,
show.
Saturday night, you come back. all sparkly and shiny and velveted up for the Little Heroes Foundation
Mm.
2025 Gala, which will be down at Morphettville Racecourse in the Wolf Blass Function Center, called One Night in Vegas. Whew, thank you for being a part of that. Wow.
Oh, it's a thrill. It's
You.
a great charity. It's a great foundation. And yeah, my band, I really look forward to it because we're going to do something completely different. And the Vegas theme was very inspiring for us. So we're going to crack open the bow ties and some swing music and, have a little like, back in Vegas in some of the days in those front lounges in the 50s and 60s where Louis Prima and, Sammy Davis would drop in and play. It would be like this sort of trio energy of like intense in your face, but still cool. And so we're going to try and recreate that on the night. So it'll be really fun.
So I just want to tell you the people that have come before you. I'll give you some names, all right? So the
Okay.
first year we had Leo Sayer with your uncle John Swan. The second
Oh,
year
wow.
we had Rhonda Birchmore. Then we had Paulini. Then we had Ricky Lee.
It's a lot of
Now
pressure.
you. I know, right?
It's a lot of pressure,
Let's set the bar.
I mean, Leo Sayer and John Swanson, I mean, I'd pay to see that gig.
That was that was a banging night.
There's a lot of there's a lot of high singing in that one. Those are
Oh,
two guys that also love to tell a tale as well. I mean, Leo loves the story. He's one of my favorite storytellers and singers. So that would be a good night. But that's a lot of luminaries there, a lot of amazing performers and singers. Ricky Lee's a good friend. I mean, they're all great people, and that's an insane bunch. So I will try and do them justice.
and
How
now
about
we
that?
have you. Now we absolutely have you. So what can we expect from your set?
It would be a lot of swing music, it'd be a lot of like beautiful stuff. Like there'll be some Bobby Darin in there because I did Dream Lover in Australia here, and that show, the template of that show was the basis of what's just happened on Broadway with Jonathan Groff and just in time. I remember when Jonathan Groff came out and saw us in Melbourne to sort of
Wow.
have this idea of like doing a Bobby Darin show and like just take it, do whatever you want with it, just make it your own. And so there'll be some Bobby Darin. I'm a big fan of Sammy Davis Jr. and a big fan of Sinatra and those sort of guys. Tony Bennett, the great Tony Bennett. You can feel that it's going to be a lot of. Tony Bennett had the Ralph Sharon trio. I used to see him a lot. So he did I Left My Heart in San Francisco. So we'll do a lot of like sort of like really cool finger snapping songs. My band and I also like to put a little bit of our own flavor into it. So we like to be a little bit energetic with those songs. So yeah, there'll be a trio sounds like it's going to be really chill, but we can double clutch it like it's a hotted up Tirana.
Absolutely. Of course, you on Today Extra, you do a lot of dancing with your co-host Sylvia.
Oh no, Belinda. Sylvia doesn't dance. Belinda dances.
Belinda's the dance. Sorry,
So I co-host with Sylvia, and then Belinda, who is when Sylvia can't be there, she comes in. And so when Sylvia was on mat leave, she had two kids very closely back to back. And so Belinda and I had a long time, and that's when TikTok blew up. And so we just started playing around. And so yeah, we do a lot of dances together. But I'm trying to get Sylvia into it. She's done one or two with me. I'm getting there slowly.
So my point is there, we should be expecting some really good dance moves, right? Because you've done your rehearsing now.
Sure, I'll be warm. I'll be limber.
I might even get Chris McDermott, who obviously heads up Little Heroes Foundation, who was an ex-footballer. You know Chris McDermott.
I know Chris, yeah.
I reckon we get him to do a little bit of choreo with you. He's going to hate me for that, but I reckon we're going to do it.
If you've got enough people around you, tell Chris, if you've got enough people around you, it just looks good, like a little flash mobby sort of thing.
Meanwhile,
I'm happy to do it. If someone wants to film it, I'll do it.
He's going to do it.
Send me the moves, I'm in.
He's going to sack me from my job, but you know what?
What a way to go.
I know, right? I know. Hey, obviously, like you said earlier, actually, no, before I get on to that, I'm just going to ask you, you do a lot of foundation work, a lot of work with charities. What is it about these foundations and charities that makes you want to get involved?
I consider it a privilege to do. I consider it something that is very much a duty for those of us who've had success in the industry to do. A lot of us, like the one I did on the weekend, my sister went through Westmead Hospital about like 30 something years ago. She was a preemie baby. And so that was a standing gig that my dad used to do every year. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, he's like, can you come in and do a number? And I would do a number. He's like, oh, I can't do next year. Can you do next year? And all of a sudden now it's my gig. But I do a lot of the stuff, and we choose what we do very carefully, because I feel like giving back to the people who are really doing the hard work of, families out there and bringing joy to either frontline workers or families out there who are doing it tough or have had to lose a loved one or, go through something with a loved one.
Mm.
To provide half an hour, or spend a night, at a dinner raising money for these causes, I think it's the least you can do as a performer. You can't do them all, and that's the truly sad thing, is that you do have to sort of divvy out your time about how you can do it. But it is the most rewarding thing you can do. And I've had some of my favorite nights doing, works with, just like what we're doing with, on the Saturday night.
Yeah, and that's something I really admire about Little Heroes Foundation, and why I work with them so closely is because, they absolutely support, the sick human being, but they also provide incredible support for the families and the people affected, by that poor human being going through their illness.
And I know that working with, Sylvia does it, she works with a charity very closely too. I think when we think about when we see in the media, or when the media presents this person's going through something, you don't see the effect that it has underneath that. There's a real pyramid going on. It goes to the mums and dads, the grandparents, the neighbors. The whole community can be infected by one person, a child or a person going through an illness. And we all know that, when we see it in our own lives. So to actually spend time and to listen to those stories and to listen to the people around them and to give them a bit of a break, it can take the shoulders down a little bit. It can give hope for the future. I mean, it's not that hard.
Exactly. It really, and you know what? Let's just be nice and let's be kind, because that goes a long way.
What?
Well, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Ain't that hard.
The World According to David and Markus, the new coffee table book, the new podcast. Hey, David, let's go back to when you were younger. Obviously, growing up in a musical household, with a massive musical household. When you had the chance, when you had your pocket money, what was the first album that you actually went out and purchased?
The first album I purchased with my own money was Billy Ocean's Suddenly record. Wow. Because I love that. That has Caribbean Queen, that has Loverboy, that has Suddenly, that has so many great songs on it. And so that was the first one. I bought it from Carrick Records at Ingle Farm Shops.
Yeah, wow. Look at you, an Adelaide boy. You're doing all the name dropping. I like it.
And I used to remember they used to print the ARIA charts when they first came out. They used to print them out, right? And you would physically have them. And so you'd have to go through, and you'd either be watching Countdown, or you'd be watching, like, there used to be Sounds before that, and then you'd be watching Video Hits, and you'd be trying to get all the songs and learn all the songs, either from smash hits or TV hits. You get the lyrics and try not to get them wrong, and you're trying to memorize all the songs at the top 40.
Yeah, man, I was a collector of those, to the point where it's like, my mum said to me, you need to make some more room in your bedroom. You're going to have to get rid of all that shit. Sad, but you know what? That would have been worth money now, I'm sure.
I think so.
Life is life. Hey, obviously you play many roles in your life, host, singer, everything, but you interview as well. Who's one of the people that you've interviewed that has absolutely blown you away, inspired you, and been a total favorite of yours?
There's a lot. There's more than you think. You get to speak to a lot of incredible people. As far as household names go, I mean, Matt Damon is always charming, and you always have, because you spend like 4 minutes with these people, right? And in that 4 minutes, you have to look like you know what they're doing, that you're friendly with them, that you have camaraderie, and you're getting the questions away about the movie. And most of the time you leave going, that was fine, or, oh, we got a few jokes and that was good. And most of the time you feel good about it. Whenever you walk away from an interview with Matt Damon, you walk away going, I think we're friends. I think we're friends. I think Matt Damon's my friend, mate. Because he's so, like, afterwards, he'll just keep talking to you and just engaging with you. And you're like, 100% Matt Damon. That's exactly what I would think. You should tell Ben Affleck that. And so that was one of them. The other one that recently was very profound for me, I spoke to Mel Robbins, who has an incredible podcast. She's now got 1 billion views all over the internet and TikTok and Instagram. And she had her book, Let Them. And I did a 20-minute interview with her. And she was truly inspiring. The way she talks about changing your life, a way she talks about allowing people to have their truths and just letting go of it, not controlling it. The let them theory, it's a bestseller for a reason. It's a very simple two-word theory that sort of I found for someone who has anxiety and is quite needy and has ADHD and can be very a people pleaser. I found that was a very useful tool for me this year. So there you go. There's two I can think of off the top of my head.
You know what, my other question for you, and I think you've just answered it really, is like, what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in your career or in life?
Oh, well, I mean, in my career, um, that everyone has imposter syndrome. And you'd never, what I worked out, and I sort of think about more and more when we're doing interviews like you would or I would, is that sometimes you just never know what that person's gone through before the Zoom comes on or before you walk into the interview room or that morning. And it's not your business to know. It's your business to do your job and for them to do their job. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if I knew about that going back into my singing and acting career 20, 30 years ago, I would have let go of a lot more drama and I would have been a lot more happier in my own work. Instead, I used to, torture myself and beat myself up and I'm an artist and this is that. But actually, actually just allowing people the space to be like, that wasn't perfect or I'm not perfect in this moment and that's okay. I think we're too curated now.
Mm, I like it. I'm David Campbell. Good, Lovin' and More at the Adelaide Cabaret Festival, 20, Friday the 20th of June. Tickets are still on sale, I believe. And Saturday the 21st of June at the Morphettville Racecourse, the Little Heroes Foundation Gala 2025. We have only got a few tables left, so get in quick if you want to experience a night of fabulousness. It's going to be so much fun. David, you are such a beautiful, good human. I can't even wait to meet you properly face to face again when you get to
Mm.
Adelaide in June. Thanks so much.
It'd be nice to hang out with you a little bit more. I've really enjoyed this and thank you for allowing me to be in the jungle room.
Thank you so much. Welcome anytime. Thank you so much, David.
Thanks, Marcus.